Huh. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining today. I was just on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, do so now, Coding Blonde. I was just on Instagram live announcing this live and showing how I went live here. So there we go. I am now focused on you guys. So what I wanted to do today, and I apologize in advance for my congested voice. As it turns out, I went to a doctor yesterday. As it turns out, I have strep throat and bronchitis. So I'm on like heavy medicine, but at least I'm not dying. That's a good thing. So if I cough, I'm not dying. If I need to blow my nose at some point, I'm sorry. But we are gathered here today to talk about the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. And I'd love to see your... Oh my God. I've just muted myself. So basically to see your comments, guys, I need to actually view the page. So muted myself. And yeah, let me know if you have any comments, any just like anything that you want to discuss. And thank you, Glenn. I know I shouldn't apologize for coughing, but sometimes it just gets crazy like this. Anyways, who has had a chance to watch the keynote? I know I couldn't sit through the 3 hours of the keynote myself, so I watched summaries. Maybe this is the lazy way to go about it. However, some of the stuff has really blown my mind. And as an Android user, I at some point thought, oh my God, maybe I should switch to Apple. And that was probably, I used to have an iPhone when I was, I switched to Android when I was 22 and never looked back since, because I just fell in love with Android and the fact that it's super, super simple to use. And I really feel like I'm in control, whether on Apple, because I still have my old iPhone, because sometimes I use it to store my Russian SIM card, but where I used to use it to record sounds for my videos. And I really feel like iOS was controlling me. So I think that the new developments are a step forward to the thing that I love about Android, the fact that you control the phone. And Israel, I actually watched probably the same video. Was that by The Verge, the 14-minute video. I also watched other videos, but that one was very good. I loved it. And Minnow Kim, I mean, it's just a personal preference, I think. I like Android. My boyfriend loves iOS, and it's just a thing of preference. So let's dive into the updates. Let me know, guys, if there are any updates specifically that you want to talk about. But again, like I started talking about phones, my favorite update was that of the iOS 12. The fact that one of the things that I loved is that they're really doubling down on performance. So no matter what device you have, you will have a good performance. That's actually a very controversial topic, or at least that used to be a controversial topic. People saying that if you update your iOS system, your device will start working slower. And so the company was kind of almost pushing you to buy the new devices so that the new iOS systems would work and your device wouldn't feel buggy. So yeah, I went to see my cousin not that long ago, and he had, I think it was like the first generation of iPad, and he still has the oldest version of the iOS system on it. And I was like, why don't you update it? And he was like, because it's going to be buggy. It's not going to work well because the software is not very well optimized for this device and for all of its functionality. So this is a great update because all the way, I think it goes down to devices starting from iOS, iPhone 5S. So that is what, 4 years ago, I guess, ish. Don't quote me on that. But basically, that is amazing because people with all those older devices will be able to enjoy all the new features and the new iOS system without having it lag, and really thinking of, you know, basically enjoying their device. And hello, everybody. I can see everybody joining. And yeah, I love it. I love it how people are very much on different camps, Android versus iPhone. It's, yeah, it's really funny. And actually, a question on the topic from Balas. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but do you think about, what do you think about the iOS 12? Will it be 65% faster? My opinion is that if it's faster, it'll use the processor more, and because of that, it will drain battery faster. I think that they need to account for that factor. So I actually have no idea how they will, operate that, but I think that they will definitely take that into account, because battery life is a huge selling point, and if this new update just drains your battery, it will not be good for them. So yeah, there we go. And hi, Andreas. Andreas is saying, my name is Andreas, world will come later. Fair enough. That does make sense. All right, so that was one of the coolest and one of the most accessible, I would say, in my opinion, update. The fact that you can use older devices and they will have great performance, even though the update is probably more aimed at newer devices. Then, oh my God, did you guys see the AR or the augmented reality stuff? That was insane. The measuring tool. So basically what's happening is that they're rolling out this app which will have augmented reality measuring ability. So for example, if you have, okay, so this is a coffee cup. This is not necessarily a good example, but there's a table behind me or a chair. So what happens is that, I don't know, let me see if you can see what I'm seeing. Or this board, yes, this is the perfect example. Okay, so basically I open the app, and what I have to do is I have to point at the thing that I want to measure, at the surface, and I need to press, and I need to drag. I don't know if you have to keep on pressing on your phone, but basically you need to drag and then you need to finish the line. And it will measure objects in real life, but using augmented reality, which is, I think, is insane. And I have a lot of questions on how well that will work. But I mean, if they're rolling it out, I feel like they should be pretty confident in that feature. At least I hope so, because it'll be really cool to be able to measure. Because right now, for example, I'm in the market for, I'm trying to get a little shelving unit to store all of my cameras and stuff like that. And because right now they're just like in little boxes underneath a sofa, and this doesn't look good. But yeah, I use measuring tape all the time. Like I actually will, after this live stream, will go and measure the space again because I found a new option and whatever. But with augmented reality, it would be a completely different picture. My next question is, would you be able to measure clothing? Because I think this is where we're going. So for example, you could measure your foot in augmented reality and get a pair of shoes that will match that, because hopefully, you know, retailers will also get that feature, will be compatible with that feature, let's say. And for example, you go on the Nike website or Adidas website and you measure your feet and you get the shoes that you need. I'm sure that stuff like that already exists, but it's just the fact that you can measure stuff in augmented reality from your phone will be insane. Yeah, so, and Glenn is saying, I knew that they were going to build on the AR library. I have a theory that they will eventually create an AR headset and utilize an AR library. I am sure that they will utilize that. They seem to be really focusing, because another update is the Apple Store, and so that is basically, that means that it's kind of a, I mean, they're looking at their libraries. At least in my head, it's like, this is a sign that they're looking at their libraries. And also another update that we're going to talk later about shortcuts. They're creating a library of that. I'm sure they're like, libraries is the next thing on their map. And yes, Glenn, I agree with you on the fact that they have learned, in terms of performance, they have definitely learned from the past. And the fact that, the fact that this is a controversial topic, you can't just make your older devices work worse by updating the system and kind of having it as a mandatory thing to be able to read, to be able to, you know, use functionalities. So, I'm just reading your messages, guys. Oh, so Active has tested out the Measure app, and it's pretty cool. So what do you think? Does it have, how does it perform when a surface is curved, let's say? How does it perform going like this, or measuring circumferences? What would you say in that sense? And Andreas is saying, AR is awesome. Can't wait for all the ads to appear in my wardrobe when trying to find my favorite t-shirt. I know, that's where we're heading. That is where we're headed. Actually, we were watching basketball the other night. You know, my boyfriend loves sports, so yesterday was hockey, the night before it was basketball, but a cool basketball game. And an ad in the middle was obviously sports related, and it was a bunch of fans on the stadium just going crazy. And all of a sudden, you see that they're just in a VR set. And some people are, you know, they're just at home, but you can almost feel their experience. And it is a crazy world where we're headed with VR and AR. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Balas is asking, actually, on the topic, what do you think they will make a VR or AR headset? I think it will be a mixture of both, or maybe they will be able to be compatible with the different sets. So I have no idea. And Sylvia, thank you so much. I have been sick for the last month, and I went to the doctor yesterday. It turns out I need antibiotics, so that's what I'm having at this point. Hot water with ginger, lemon, and honey was not helping me, unfortunately. It's a bacterial thing. And Andreas is on the topic of the wardrobe, saying that Alexa will be shouting on the back, shouting on the back, don't trust your wardrobe, I have a better t-shirt here. I would not doubt that, but actually I think you will be able to shut her up in that case. So yeah, and AGV is asking if why the quality is bad. I don't know how you're seeing this. I'm sorry. Hopefully my internet connection is good enough, but it's a video from my web camera, so sorry about that. And Glenn is saying that he thinks, and he's just guessing here, but that they will measure on pinpoints on the object, something like shadows and stuff like that. And potentially use machine learning in their libraries to the machine learning principles to determine the depth, shape, etc., etc. I would not be surprised. I'm pretty sure that this is already something that's been going on in their thinking, and it's very, 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 very exciting where we're headed, and also very scary because we are definitely moving away from the real world and going into something that is what's it called? Less real. However, you know, with my parents, for example, being so far away, I wouldn't mind joining them for a VR dinner. That could be cool. And actually, VR dinner, not an AR dinner. But speaking of AR, augmented reality, as a group and experiencing that, you can also now do that. And they showed a really interesting clip where people had a table in between them and had some interesting game with wooden objects that they were trying to hit, and to win the game, like whoever hits each other's wooden structures and hits them off the table wins. And multiple people could see the same augmented reality environment, so the same structures from different angles. And as they were interacting with them, they could see that. So from the reality, it would just look like a normal table, but they both saw the object on them and interacted with them at the same time, which is really cool, and definitely a really cool advancement in the AR system. They also showed the little Lego town and some characters interacting there. I didn't quite understand what was happening there, but I think that just shows how many opportunities there are for AR in terms of children's stuff, toys and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. And Glenn is saying that education and navigation will be an amazing development with AR. I agree. It's going to be so, so interesting. I am very excited. Very, very excited. Sorry, I'm just checking through the chat. For some reason, I had top chat instead of live chat. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing out on anyone's comments. And all right, okay, let's go into the next development, which was, I think this was the thing that really made me think about switching to iPhone. And I'm not convinced yet. I'm not. I'm still an Android girl, and I really can't wait for the new Pixel to come out. And they introduced this new feature, and from what I understand, Siri is falling behind other assistants. But this new feature is going to be really cool. It's called Shortcuts. And basically what you can do is you can create a shortcut for yourself and tell Siri, use those shortcuts with Siri. For example, instead of trying to open your Instagram app, let's use that, you can say, hey Siri, open Instagram, or hey Siri, you can have a secret word with her, like, show me my photos, you know? I don't know. You can create a weird shortcut like that. And the example they use there is get me home, if I get the wording right. But basically what it meant is that you could program the shortcut to activate multiple commands. So for example, get me home would show you how long it will take for you to get home. Also, it will share the estimated time of arrival with your flatmate. It would text the flatmate. It would set the thermostat in the flat to a specific temperature, and it would also turn on the fan, which is a very specific example, but a really cool example to see that shows how much you can do and how much integration you can have if you have a smart home. So for example, I don't know, yes, start the air conditioning, or if you, I'm just looking at the bread machine. If you have a bread machine and you've already, there's some bread recipes. I make bread. Actually, I'm going to make a loaf. No, not today, on Monday. But there's some bread recipes that you can put off for a for some time, so they don't have ingredients that spoil. So for example, they have water, they don't have milk, or they don't have eggs, they just have water. And so you could, if it was a smart bread machine, you could activate that 3 hours before you get home. So when you get home, you have a fresh and warm loaf of bread, which would be fantastic. How amazing. So yeah, I can see a lot of people are saying, go Android team, go Android team. So this shortcut thing is going to be very, very interesting. And in fact, I'd be curious to see what shortcuts you come up with. So I personally don't know what shortcuts I would create other than, yes, go home, like automate some of the things, but I don't have a smart home yet, so I don't know how much I can integrate. However, what would you come up with if you had a smart home? Tell me here, or comment under my latest post on Instagram. If something comes up later at a later stage, it would be very, very I'd be very, very curious to see what you guys come up with. Glenn Codes is saying, if huge benefit will be conjunction with HomeKit, you could set up a series of commands in a shortcut. So for example, hey Siri, good night, it dims and turns off your light, locks the doors. Actually, Google Home already has that. So Siri is trying to catch up. Google Home, I remember I was actually still at Google, and I was in the London office. I was sitting doing some work, and on the background I had the keynote running, and they announced the Google, good night Google. But sorry, my throat gets very, very dry. Oh my God, one more. Okay, I'm better now. So there was this thing, good night Google, and Google would do exactly that. It would dim the light, it would lower the temperature or whatever, and then it would make sure the door is locked. So this is very exciting, very creepy as well, because, oh my God, like you can lock your door yourself. I was locking the door yesterday myself, and I actually take pleasure in the fact that I know that the door is locked. I mean, systems are great, but sometimes it's nice to be a human. And also, just how much, it just makes me think of how much is controlled by these systems, which is pretty crazy. If somebody hacks into your system, which I hope nobody experiences, but you know, they can get locked in or locked out and all that stuff. So yeah. Oh, Amit is saying Microsoft acquired GitHub. That's awesome. I actually have not read those news yet, but I think that they know what they're doing. They know that that's a huge, huge network of developers, and I'm sure they will integrate it with some of their programs and basically source talent from that. But let's go back to the topic, which is the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference, and talk about the next issue. And before we go there, Glenn Codes is talking about Google Home turning off the bedroom light for him. That's actually very nice, because sometimes if your switch is far away, it's not it's not easy, and it's just like, you know, you're already in bed, you're comfortable, and there was a talk of issues with Alexa unlocking doors or some kind of hacker vulnerability. So yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, like the moment you automate your home, you're vulnerable. And I was at this security hackathon, and it was crazy talking to all of these people who are in defense. They work in defense organizations, and they were saying just how vulnerable we are. And we were talking about somebody hacking, the first case of hacking into a pacemaker, which is crazy. Like, I think I talked about it in a different live stream as well, but that scares me so much because we have so many devices, and when they're connected to the Wi-Fi or whatever, they're not necessarily protected, and so they make us vulnerable, and it's just very, very scary. So yeah, back to the Apple updates. So the photo search and sharing is going to be improved. I don't think that's going to be, that's such a like revolutionary news, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. From what I understand, they're making it more like Google Photos. I actually really enjoy Google Photos, and good for them to copy the best app, in my opinion. There's a new Stocks app. Also, they're launching voice memos for the iPad, and iBooks have been redesigned, and now they're called Apple Books. And then there's this card kit that will support third-party apps for navigation, which at the conference, everybody went really, really crazy and like, woo, for those news. I don't use that. I don't drive here, so I don't know what was the problem with it before. But hey, they did that. The next thing is very, very interesting. And it goes to the fact that we are very addicted to our devices. And actually, one second, guys, I need to blow my nose. I'm going to mute myself for a second. I can breathe. Yay. It feels good. All right. So basically, this is probably one of my favorite bits of the iPhone updates. And to be honest, Google also has that. The Android system will have that. So that wasn't at any point a switching point for me, but basically it will tell you all about your usage of different apps. How much you're spending on this app, what is attracting to your phone, what notifications are you getting the most. And so this will allow you to control your consumption of your phone, which is actually really great because I feel like we're too addicted to these little devices at this point. I don't know what to do when I don't have a phone and I'm in a waiting room or something. It's sad. It's sad at this point. So yeah, I can see Glenn goes, yeah, oxygen. Yes, oxygen is great. And guys, I have bronchitis and I have strep throat, and at this point, lime juice unfortunately doesn't help. Trust me, I've tried for a month. Also, I've been trying to use this grapefruit seed extract, which apparently is magical, but it just didn't work on the bacterial stuff that I have. But apparently it's really good for your immune system. So remember this. Tips and tricks from Masha. So yeah, basically back to this development, I think it will be really, really good for you to understand and be in control of what you're doing, not mindlessly taking your phone and just scrolling and whatever. So this will be really, really good. However, Android also is going to have this. So I don't know how effective, how how much of a differentiator that will be. However, another thing that what they're doing is turning off notifications in this do not disturb mode, where basically during the night, if you turn on this mode, it just does not show you notifications at all. So at this point, during do not disturb, it might not play sound or whatever. At this point, with this development, it will not show anything, so you don't get distracted. So for example, if you get up during at night, you will, and you check the time, let's say, you will not get distracted by the fact that, oh, you have a message from this person, you have an email from this person, and you don't start waking up your brain and thinking about what that means. Animoji. I don't have an iPhone. I haven't actually played with Animoji. If you guys have, let me know. This is interesting development. And back on the previous point, Glenn Code says no notifications will be a godsend, especially for us workaholics. Absolutely. However, you know, there are already apps that prevent you from checking your phone. Actually, what was the app that I have that I use a lot? Let me see, let me tell you. It is called, and I don't know if they have it for iOS, I'm sure they do. It's called Insight Timer. And let me see if we can see this. Oh, no, I'm already a member. No, skip. Just starting out, okay. No, wait, sorry, this is the wrong one. This is, where was it? Basically, the whole point of that is that you don't use your phone. You start off that app, and as long as you don't switch away from that app, you get points. When you start that timer or whatever, you plant a tree or a bush or whatever. And so during the time that it's open, your tree is growing. The moment you switch away from the app, your tree dies. So you don't want to kill your trees. You want to be environmentally friendly on your phone. This is what you do. So this is actually very good, and it has helped me a lot not to check my phone and notifications while I was working. So Glenn Codes, listen to this. This is a very, very interesting app. Actually, I might do a post with all of that. Oh, you've heard of that? Yeah, it's good. It's a very, very good app. So yeah, but back to Animoji. Animoji are these animated little emojis. For example, you know, the little monkey or whatever. And now they have tongue recognition. Good. Never used it. Not too crazy about it. So tongue animation just hits it in the sweet spot. Not really. But apparently they also have a better eye tracking. This is what I saw from another YouTube channel that was reviewing this. So that would be good. And another thing is that they've launched Memoji, where you can create your own emoji, and it's going to be you, and you can even place it on your head and chat with that using messages or record videos with that, which could be fun, but I don't know. I'm just not my cup of tea. FaceTime, and I think somebody has already mentioned this in the chat, and it's, what's it called? Basically, you can now FaceTime with up to 32 people at the same time. And when you're FaceTiming, whoever is talking, their photo is going to expand. So that's very cool. I use Google Hangouts for that, so nothing new for me. But a lot of people who love FaceTime, I'm sure, will be super happy. And it's going to be really fun. And yes, I agree, Glenn Codes. It's about time, and I can see a lot of people are talking about asthma. I don't have asthma, guys. But thank you very much for your care. And let's go further. Apple Watch is going to be an interesting tool now. You can now challenge friends to competitions. So for example, you want to have, well, fitness competitions. So you can track your different sessions, for example, yoga sessions, hiking, running, and stuff like that. So it will be a great tool for peer encouragement. Then it will also support shortcuts from Siri. So if you want Siri to start the Get Me Home program, you can just say it to the watch. There's a walkie-talkie mode that will let you send and receive push-to-talk audio messages via Apple Watch. Cool. And you don't have to say, "Hey Siri" anymore. You just have to raise up your watch to your face, which is good because then, it eliminates 2 words from your sentence. Efficiency. They're getting more sophisticated. You can play background audio, and notifications are going to be more interactive. And also they have a rainbow strap for the Pride Month, which is really cool. So yeah, Apple TV is going to be fun. Who uses Apple TV, Apple Watch? Who uses Apple Watch here? Tell me. And what's it called? I have no idea if it's waterproof. I don't use it. My dad used to be a little paranoid, and he was like, "I don't want them to know my heart rate. I don't want them to know when I'm excited, when I'm not excited." So I kind of follow that. Plus, I don't wear watches. Like I've tried, and I just don't wear watches. So I have no idea. I'm sorry, I haven't tried it. Apple TV is getting some updates. I'm alive. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of, or not a huge expert on Apple TV, but they're getting new channels and some unlock features. And they're going to have some really cool videos that are filmed with drones on the screensavers. So I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think the next update is going to be much more exciting, which is Mac and Mac OS. And I have no idea. I have heard people pronounce it, but at this point, I don't know how to pronounce it. I know it's a desert, and I don't know if it's called, Mojave. Mojave. I think it's Mojave. So Mojave Desert. That's the new iOS update, which is free and which is going to be Mojave, I think so. So, which is going to be really cool. So one of the things that I need in my life is desktop stacks. And I'm a Mac girl. I'm an Android and Mac girl. So this is relevant to me. I like that. They're gonna have desktop stacks, which will stack up all of your files according to their different types and tags, if you have tags in them, which should be very, very nice and will help you organize your stuff. They're introducing a new dark mode. Who is excited for the dark mode? Let me know, guys. Yeah, and another thing, I don't particularly care for the dark mode. Maybe I am one of the only people who do that, but I'm sure a lot of people will be super excited because it does look very, very stylish. I just prefer whiter tones. I don't know, it's just my personal preferences in terms of aesthetics. But a lot of people are very excited about it, and it does look pretty cool. And some people have already spoken about why don't you make the iOS have the dark mode as well? And another thing that they've introduced is the gallery view, which is another way to preview your documents and see the metadata and do quick actions on them, including signing photos and rotating them, which is going to be really, really cool because at the time, right now, I need to open them in preview, rotate, save them. Then, I mean, I can do that pretty fast, but it will be even more convenient, which is going to be really, really fun. And yeah, so I think these are the main updates that I wanted to talk about. I can see Glenn is very excited about the dark mode and about the stacks. It's going to be very, very fun. I am sure I'm sure it's going to be much, much easier to organize things. And I personally am very excited about the preview thing because as someone who deals with a lot of video and just like visual files, that is what I need. And a lot of times you don't see all the details and it's pretty slow otherwise. So should be really fun. Who's asking about the new iPhone? Tamil, to be honest, I have no idea. I'm not a tech wizard. I'm just talking about the new updates. I have an Android myself. I have a Samsung. So I can't tell you how is the new iPhone X. I recommend searching YouTube for people who do reviews on them. Not one of them, sorry. But I've heard it's good. I've heard good things. My boyfriend is looking into buying it, and he's mulling over that. So if he gets it, I will let you know. So yeah. Oh, Glenn Coates has it. Apparently, it's awesome and very fast. So there we go. And Rolanda is asking, why does Apple do late updates? It's just their time whenever they do updates. Google I/O happened at the beginning of May. Their conference happens at the beginning of June. I feel like giving each other a month in between is actually a good thing because people are very excited about one thing and their attention is not distracted by anything else. So yeah, these are the updates. I am very happy that I've been able to talk to you guys today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being active on the chat here. And basically, yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback. I am very excited to continue talking to you. And like we said, if you have any ideas for shortcuts, let me know under my latest post on Instagram. Wait, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Yes, where is it? Here it is. Let me see. My latest post on Instagram. Comment under that. What would be your shortcut of choice if you had shortcuts right now? What would you automate? Imagine that your home is a smart home. What would you do? I'm going to comment my own thing over there in like 5-10 minutes, and I'm excited to see yours. Also, sign up to my newsletter. You can see the link below in the description. I am about to start being very active there, so you don't want to miss it. And people are asking me, what is my Instagram? Coding Blonde. You can find the links below in the description as well, and you can also find it on my profile on YouTube. Here, I have a little link for it. So, Coding Blonde on Instagram. Sign up to the newsletter. And I will see you later. Have a great day, everybody. And yeah, enjoy your almost weekend. And for some people, it might be already weekend because of the time change. So yes, I'm talking about you, Glenn Codes. All right. Have a great, have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.